My Roommate's a Vampire, Chapter 1, Give Me Something Sweet to Bite, by Dennis the Menace. She's a nice mare, really, honestly. Simply not the type of responsible pony my mother would want me to associate myself with. The type you would cross the street to avoid. The shady kind of pony up to no good, with a perchance for mischief. Uncouth, undignified. Oh yes, Vinyl Scratch was all those things, and I couldn't have asked for a better friend. She was a rough and tumble tomboy, no doubt. Her mane was an absolute disaster, just awful, impossible to tame. And those colors, ugh. Her sense of fashion left something to be desired. A hoodie in the middle of summer? Why not? Her table manners were impeccable. I'm joking. Yes, that was a fake laugh. Was it wrong for me to laugh when she snorted milk out her nose? Or when she had lettuce in her teeth? Good idea, Vinyl. Let's have a belching contest in a 5-star restaurant. I'm sure no pony will mind. Vinyl was definitely confident. She radiated confidence. She had something that I just couldn't put my hoof on. Swagger? Maybe. Shall we strut down the sidewalk with our noses in the air next to those stuffy Canterlot nobles? Of course we shall, my dear. She definitely knew how to draw attention, get others to notice, make herself known. Her mere presence could change the atmosphere of the room. She was loud and proud and obnoxious, and I couldn't help but wonder why I still hung around her. Her taste of music left something to be desired. It was obvious we would butt heads. She prefers something of the electric variety. Mine was more organic medium, with woods and strings and soul. But it was all right. We were complete opposites, Vinyl and I. Understatement of the century. She was the yin to my yang, red oni to my blue oni. We had a love-hate relationship, if you could call it that.
Come on, Octi, up here.
Vinyl called, dashing upstairs. It wasn't my idea to move in with her. Really, I just went along with it. Financial reasons, you know.
Wait till you get a load of this. Ta-da!
She pushed open the door with a flourish and a bow. I gawked, running inside, turning around the foyer. This place is great, I said with a hearty sniff. It was certainly not Manhattan. It wasn't the Canterlot penthouse of my dreams either, but it would have to do. Already furnished. How wonderful. The paint wasn't peeling, so that's a good sign. Not like my dingy old apartment. The carpet smelled fresh. Straight ahead from the door, there was the foyer. A coffee table, 2 couches, a vase with wilting flowers. Then there was a balcony with a glass door, with a great view of the castle. To the left, a kitchen with a fire extinguisher. Break glass in case of Vinyl Scratch.
Dibs!
She yelled, bolting off down the hallway. She was a peculiar mare, an enigma. I couldn't never tell what she was thinking. Her eyes, goodness, I had no idea what she looked like without those gaudy sunglasses. She wore them in her sleep, probably in the shower as well, if I took a peek. Not that I would, mind you. I was just curious about her eyes. Shut up. What secrets are you hiding, Vinyl Scratch? What secrets? There were no secrets between us. I knew her favorite color, song, place to go on a Friday night. But did I know Vinyl Scratch, the mare behind the sunglasses and bravado? Or was I only scratching the surface? Friends, family, did she have any? Or was she raised by a pack of wolves? I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Or Cutie Mark, how did she get it? It was a mystery. She was a mysterious mare. with an air of mysteriousness surrounding her.
Nightmare night, what a fright,
the pale unicorn chanted, bobbing her head.
Give us something sweet to bite.
Vinyl, I said. She danced around the room, waving decorations, oblivious. Vinyl, I said a bit louder this time. She jerked her head, flipping off her headphones.
Yeah?
Please, I'm trying to read. She rolled her eyes. I couldn't tell, but the way she tossed her mane said it all.
Octi.
She wiggled her hips.
See something you like?
I flushed. I was looking at your cutie mark.
Sure.
She snickered.
What you reading?
Vinyl was by my side in an instant, pushing me over on the couch and laying on her belly. I shifted slightly, feeling her coat brush against mine. I moved over some more to give her some space. Instead, she closed the gap between our bodies. I stared at her, hoping she would get the hint, but instead, she only grinned. Personal space and all that, right? Right?
Let me see.
I showed her the cover. It was my turn to roll my eyes as she snorted.
Vampires? I never knew you were into that sort of thing. Nightmare night.
I sighed. What a fright. Give me something sweet to bite. Ugh! Vinyl leaned in suddenly, sandwiching me between her and the couch, her muzzle hot against my neck, sending a shiver up my spine. Get off of me!
I want to suck your blood, my dear.
I pushed her off, flustered, watching her roll onto the carpet with an oomph. She stood up. She stood up pouting.
You're no fun. You gotta get into the nightmare night mood.
That's not for a while, Vinyl. At least a week. I frowned, looking around the loft. Remind me never to hire you as my interior decorator. The apartment looks dreadful. Cobwebs everywhere. You're going to clean this up.
An entire night of free candy. It is better than Heartswarming Eve.
She danced around.
Hey, what's for dinner?
Vinyl stared.
Seriously?
Her mouth scrunched up in disgust. I chewed and swallowed, dabbing my lips. Just eat the pasta, Vinyl. You act like you're allergic to the pasta.
I'm not allergic to the stupid pasta. It's the garlic.
What's wrong with the garlic? I can't see her eyes, but I could tell she was looking away now.
I hate garlic.
She muttered. Just try it.
Forget it.
Vinyl, eat the garlic. It wasn't a plea or a compromise. It was a command, an order. Oh, so assertive, Octavia. She glowered at me, opening her mouth and levitating the fork, moving it closer to her mouth. The mare took a bite, chewing for a bit, before I saw her face contort. Vinyl? She had left the table and dashed over to the bathroom, spitting it out.
Ugh, gross, gross!
She scraped her tongue with her hoof. Hey, are you all right? Positively green. Not really, just a little pale. Vinyl's coat was always sickly pale. Pale as a vampire. I furrowed my brow. What was wrong with the garlic? My mind drifted back to my book. It was a bit stupid of me, but my mind had already made the connections. Garlic and vampire. Vampires hated garlic. What if Vinyl was a vampire? Vinyl wasn't the type of pony to stop and smell the flowers. Come with me, Vinyl, and we can go on a journey through the Canterlot Garden. No, thank you. I'm staying right here, Octavia, in the dank, dark apartment room, with all the blinds closed. Yes, sir. Enjoy your nature. No wonder she looked like that. I wasn't the outdoorsy type, but I would like the occasional walk through the park. Come to think of it, she never came out when it was bright. She locked herself in when it was summer and came out in the winter. She claims
I have sensitive skin.
Vinyl seemed to have an adverse reaction to the sun, always clinging to the shadows. Vampires didn't like the sun. Vinyl Scratch, the vampire. That's a good one. She was nocturnal. Her job called for it. By day, she was Vinyl Scratch, the laziest mare Equestria's ever seen, lounging around, sluggish. By night, she was something else. She was DJ Pone 3, somehow even more loud and obnoxious than Vinyl Scratch. You're coming with me, and that's final. But the sun is still out, she moaned. I gestured towards the moon outside our window. You're getting fat. Look at this. I slapped her flank, only realizing seconds later what I have done. Vinyl grinned. I shook my head furiously. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. She grinned even wider, leaning closer, arching an eyebrow. I tried to see her eyes behind her purple lenses. She pulled away, dragging me along, while I blushed redder than a tomato. A little too close, Vinyl. Too close for comfort. Our bodies pressed together as we strolled through the park. Summer had passed all too quickly, and now Equestria was beginning its transition into fall. We took a scenic route through the park, trotting beneath the trees' canopy with bare branches, thanks to the running of the leaves. I shivered at her touch. I bumped my rump into hers, pushing her away. She snickered, throwing an arm around my neck, pulling us close together. I squirmed, unable to slip out of her grasp. I resented myself to resting my head against hers. Just friends, huh?
You know, I really like you.
She grinned. Perhaps things only made sense to me in hindsight. Look back, I realized that I was a little dense. A little or a lot. Maybe in denial. A little bit of both. You couldn't blame me. Let's call it ignorance on my behalf. I should have put 2 and 2 together. At the time, I hadn't thought much about it. When I had thought... The time I hadn't thought much about it. Well, I hadn't thought much about anything. I had seen the signs and chose not to heed them. I like you too, I said slowly, deliberately cocking my head slightly. There was a slight twitch of her lip as she gazed at me. An experience unreadable, but she wore her grin like a mask and kept grinning, pulling me along, laughing. For some reason, I wanted to apologize to her. Vinyl, do you think you could swing by the store and grab me some eggs? She groaned. But it's too hot. Can't I do the cooking? When I didn't answer, she poked her head into the kitchen, donning a black pullover. Vinyl, you just said it was hot. Why in Equestria did you put on a jacket?
I sunburn easily.
I narrowed my eyes. Perhaps I was reading too much into it, but it was starting to seem fishy. Back then, we'd only go out at night after I finished my rehearsal and she finished her DJing. Her behavior was erratic, irrational. Normal ponies didn't wear sunglasses at night and inside the house. And they certainly didn't hide from the sun and try to lock themselves in on a perfectly fine day. Vampire. No, Octavia, you silly man. She's not a vampire. How hard I tried to convince myself, but my mind had already made up. I had all the evidence I needed. She hated garlic. Maybe she really doesn't like garlic. Octavia, you're being irrational one now. She hated the sun. Maybe she really does have a skin condition. You never know. The sunglasses, the jacket. Her wardrobe made so much sense now. No pony can be as fashionable as you. I kept chopping, slicing the carrots, my mind following conspiracy, and I'm back. Vinyl chimed in. Ugh! I pulled back, bleeding. The kitchen knife clattered to the floor, the tip stained with red. Octy! Vinyl gasped at the sight of me clutching my bleeding hoof. Are you all right? Are you feeling woozy, a little dizzy? Do you need to sit down? I'm fine, Vinyl. It's just a paper cut. You call that a paper cut? It looks like you got tangled with a manticore. You're exaggerating. Just give me a Band-Aid. She grabbed my hoof suddenly. Here, let me see. Vinyl? Sorry. Vinyl? Her muzzle inched closer. Ew, Vinyl, that's unsanitary! She didn't listen. She kept sucking until the wound was dry and pulled away with a pop. All better now. I blinked. Yes. The wound would have stopped flowing. I snatched my hoof away. Thanks, I guess. I'll go get some Band-Aids. It was her being overprotected, that's all. I was lying to myself. There was just too many coincidences. Too many that I just couldn't ignore. Everything I read in my novel point towards Vinyl being a vampire. And what was that thing sucking on my hoof? Maybe I could have demanded an explanation. Yes! And have my throat ripped out for asking. Vampires were bloodthirsty monsters. I gasped. She tasted my blood. I trusted Vinyl. But there was a glimmer of doubt in the back of my head. What if she betrayed me? What if her lust for blood was enough to overcome our friendship? I was going to need some garlic. Her mouth scrunched up in distaste. Oh, disgust. Sorry, my grammar's off today. I chewed, swallowed. Oh, sorry. Stupid clock. Oh, sorry. She lowered? That, I've never seen that word in my life. Gross! Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm gonna try that one over again. I frowned for, sorry. So, Loking? Sorry. I gestured at the moon outside the window. Outside all windows. Sorry. I slapped her flank. That's a hard word. Throwing an arm around my neck, pulling me close, oh, sorry. She snickered, throwing an arm around my neck, pulling us. How many times do I have to try this one?